Just when we thought we knew everything about the infamous Menendez brothers, Netflix drops a bombshell documentary revealing shocking new details. Who could have imagined that after decades in prison, Lyle and Erik would be reunited, or that both of them would find love behind bars? Stay tuned as we explore these unexpected twists and dive deep into their lives after conviction. What really happened when Lyle and Erik Menendez were reunited after decades of separation? And how has their story taken a twist most people wouldn't expect? In the early 1990s, the Menendez brothers captivated the nation with their shocking crime, the brutal murder of their parents in their Beverly Hills mansion. Their trials were media sensations, ending with life sentences for both brothers in 1996. I covered all of this in my previous video, from the initial crime to their convictions. But today, we're not revisiting the murders. Instead, we're focusing on the newest revelations. This video provides a fresh look at Lyle and Erik's lives after their high-profile trials, revealing emotional reunions, personal growth, and even love found behind bars. For over 20 years, the Menendez brothers were separated. Lyle was sent to Mule Creek State Prison, while Erik was placed in the California State Prison, Los Angeles County. For 2 decades, they lived in isolation, communicating only through letters.
2 decades. I feared that I could not protect him. I just felt no peace, like a part of me was just across the state.
But that changed in 2018, when they were finally reunited at the Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. Their reunion was emotional. Their first meeting was in the prison yard. They hadn't seen each other face to face since their sentencing in 1996, over 20 years earlier. Lyle describes the moment they saw each other as a flood of emotions, and the documentary captures the brothers' raw reflections on their reunion.
The joy of seeing him again, of being able to wrap my arms around him and give him a hug, was overwhelming. It was just happiness.
Lyle and Erik shared that their separation had been one of the hardest parts of their incarceration. For years, they fought to be placed in the same facility, and when they finally saw each other again, they hugged for what felt like hours, catching up on lost time. This reunion marked the start of a new chapter for the brothers, who now spend their days working, exercising, and simply being together, something they thought might never happen again. Despite the challenges of life behind bars, their bond has grown stronger. Being reunited has given them a renewed sense of hope, even within the confines of their life sentences. One of the most surprising revelations is that both Lyle and Erik have managed to find love, even while serving life sentences. Lyle married Rebecca Sneed in 2003. Rebecca, a former magazine editor, had known Lyle for some time before they tied the knot. Their relationship, like all prison marriages, has faced unique challenges. With no physical contact allowed beyond brief visits, their bond has been built on emotional connection and trust. According to Lyle, their marriage has given him a sense of stability and purpose in a life otherwise defined by restrictions. Erik also found love behind bars. In 1999, he married Tammy Sakoma, who has been one of his most vocal supporters. Tammy even wrote a book about their relationship called "They Said We'd Never Make It," detailing the struggles they've faced as a couple living with Erik's life sentence. Tammy's dedication to Erik has been unwavering. She talks about how their love has helped them endure the difficulties of their situation, and how she continues to advocate for him, despite the media attention and the heavy burden of his sentence.
I trusted Erik.
Why and how did you trust him?
He's the most sensitive, kind. I mean, he's always there for me.
These marriages raise questions about how human connection persists, even in the most restricted environments. For Lyle and Erik, these relationships have provided them with emotional support and a sense of normalcy, even from within the walls of prison. In their interviews, both brothers reflect on their past actions with what appears to be a mix of remorse and rationalization. Lyle, for example, talks about how the trauma they experienced growing up shaped their actions.
I have lived my whole life with hopelessness. If your childhood is traumatic enough, prison is an extension of that.
While Erik expresses regret over not handling things differently. One of the more striking moments in the documentary is when Erik breaks down while discussing the emotional weight of their crime and the consequences it has had on their lives.
I got into every aspect of this tragedy. Every aspect of this tragedy is my fault.
He speaks about the burden of living with what they did and how, even decades later, the pain hasn't gone away. Lyle, on the other hand, delves into how his time in prison has changed him. He shares that prison has forced him to grow emotionally, and while he doesn't believe he will ever be forgiven by society, he hopes that people can understand the complexity of their situation. The brothers have had years to reflect on the night they murdered their parents. They discuss their changing perspectives, with both admitting that they had no idea how their actions would haunt them for the rest of their lives. These interviews offer a rare glimpse into the psyche of two men who have spent over half their lives in prison, grappling with the weight of their past actions and their uncertain futures. The release of this documentary has reignited public interest in the Menendez case, sparking debates across social media. On platforms like Twitter and TikTok, viewers have been sharing their thoughts. Some express sympathy for the brothers, citing their claims of childhood abuse, while others maintain that justice was served with their life sentences. But it's not just public opinion that's shifting. The documentary also touches on ongoing efforts to revisit the Menendez brothers' case.
Boy, would I like to believe that. And they're looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute, there's an injustice here.
Legal advocates have been pushing for a re-examination of their trial, arguing that new evidence of abuse should have been taken more seriously at the time. While there hasn't been any concrete legal progress yet, the documentary raises important questions about whether the brothers could ever see their sentences reduced, or if the public will continue to view them as cold-blooded killers. The Menendez brothers' story has captivated the public for decades, and these latest revelations only add new layers to their complex narrative. From their emotional reunion in prison to the surprising fact that both brothers found love while serving life sentences, the story continues to evolve. What do you think? Do Lyle and Erik deserve a second chance, or is justice being served with their current sentences? Let me know in the comments below. If you're as fascinated by this case as I am, be sure to check out my previous video for a full breakdown of their trials and convictions, and subscribe to my channel for more updates on this ongoing story. Until next time, stay curious.